I only have 3 minutes or 5 minutes with this person. I want to close them. I said, ask a question where they reveal their goal and their fear. Solve that goal or fear. You can make a deal that closes in 5 minutes.
Welcome to the Dean Graziosi Show. All success starts right here.
So before you have to sell, or before you want to negotiate, or before you walk into a boardroom, if there's something you're going to do, you need to go to a bank to get money. You're going to a dinner with someone who's going to invest $1 million with you. A lot of times our insecurities kick in and go, am I good enough? What if they ask me questions I don't know? Here's what I do. I borrow confidence from the past. Just think of something else in the past that you kicked ass on, that you were nervous and you got it, and remind yourself. Sean Stevenson is great. He's got this little thing, what's cool about you? Even if you got to write down before you do something 5 things that you've accomplished, 5 things that make you cool. It could be, I'm a great dad, I'm a great mom, I started my own business. When everybody said I couldn't, I did it. I went through a horrible divorce and I still came out and my kids are amazing. Whatever it is, find something that was challenging for you and it makes you cool, or something you've accomplished. And even if you got to keep the paper in your pocket, when you're feeling a little insecure, pull it out and go, no, I'm pretty much a badass. And feel it in your cells, feel it in your soul. The other thing, Lincoln, I think it was Lincoln that said, if he had an hour to solve a problem, he would spend 55 minutes on the right questions. And what most people do when they sell is they use this too much and they don't use these enough. One of the greatest ways to close any deal, and I know even when I go into a boardroom and sometimes I'm blessed or fortunate enough to be closing big deals. And there's a whole bunch of people around, and I literally will walk in and listen and keep my mouth shut for the first half hour. And I know people look at me like I love meetings where I know everybody's going to be dressed up and wanting to show how important everybody is, and I show up in a t-shirt and jeans on. And I do that on purpose. And a lot of times people go around and introduce themselves. And I'm Bob, I'm CEO and vice president of da-da-da-da. And when it gets to me, I'm like, hey, I'm Dean. And I do that on purpose. And then I want to be Lisa. I want people to talk, and I'll always be the one, because most people want to hear themselves talk. They want to share their value, and then they want to share what they want. And here's the cool part. Let them do it. You know, one of the things I remember, Matt, you said I had to think a little different. One of my first courses, like know people's magic buttons. I wrote that 12 years ago. But what I'll do in every circumstance when I want to close a deal is I keep my mouth shut and I use very few words. Because if you just ask the right questions, they will tell you everything you want. People love to just have diarrhea of the mouth and just share, especially men with their egos. My God, just ask the right questions and they'll just vomit up everything they're looking for, right? So I literally, if I want to close a deal in any situation, I will just ask certain questions and then keep my mouth shut and let people talk, because they're giving you the fuel to close the deal. And one of my best questions that I'll always answer, high level, low level, I'll just say, hey, I know you want to do this deal together. You want to make XYZ happen. You want to sell me the property. You want to lock up my brand. You want to do this. If it was a year from now and this relationship went great and we were here celebrating, we were toasting with some champagne, what does that look like to you? And most of the time, if people don't know that answer, I won't do business with them. First off, if they can't, and I know sometimes people didn't think about it immediately, but if they can't in 5 minutes tell you that, then what are we doing? What are we doing here? Right? Isn't there a bigger purpose to this? But when you ask that question, all of a sudden, here's the thing I want you to listen for. Listen for their biggest fears, listen for their insecurities, and listen for their goals. That's all you got to do. Keep this quiet for a while, keep your ears open. They'll tell you their fears, they'll tell you their insecurities, and they'll tell you their goals. And you can determine with your self-inner dialogue, you can determine if I can solve his fears, I can kill or her the insecurities, and I can allow them to reach their goal in some way, then you got it. It's locked up. I literally will listen and go, in my head, I'm like, I got this. And no problem. I know exactly what to do. One of the first stories that you always liked, one of the first deals I ever did, her name was Mary Lapresti. And Mary Lapresti owned a house, a 3-unit, she lived in the basement, or in the first floor. 2 stories above her were 2 houses, 2 apartments. And her family lived in the 2 apartments above. Mary Lapresti's husband, again, everybody's Italian where I live, Luigi Lapresti. He was Italian. Luigi died. he passed away, and everybody was trying to buy her house, and she wanted $185,000 for it. I remember it because I wrote it in Think a Little Different, and it made me a bunch of money. And everybody wanted to buy the house. It was probably worth $160,000. And when he passed away, everybody was trying. She had it for sale, and everybody'd go there, and she'd yell and scream and throw him out of the house. Everybody's like, oh, that old lady's crazy. And she wasn't, because when I went and finally met her and I listened to her, I introduced myself. I ended up going back to her house like 3 Sundays in a row for pasta dinner. I was talking to her, and she wasn't crazy. She was a sweetheart. But here's what I found out by listening, by saying, hey, Mary, or Mrs. Lapresti, I called her Mrs. Lapresti. I said, what would make you happy on this house? And she says, in an Italian accent, oh, Dino, I have to get a 185. That's all I can do, 185. And well, everybody in my town had an Italian accent, so I don't know Italian. I just know the Italian accent. But she said 185, and I said, oh, I didn't say, oh my God, that price is too high, which everybody else said. I said, why did you come up with that price? After lots of conversation, and I just want to share with you how listening made this deal happen. She said, when my husband died, he said to me, sell this house and move to Florida. You don't need all the maintenance. But this house is worth $185,000. Don't sell it for a penny less. So all these people saying Mary Lapresti's crazy, she was honoring her dead husband. And all she wanted to do was move to Florida and not have a place that cost her so much time in it, because he used to fix everything. It was an older house, right? But a really valuable house. It was a legal three bedroom, or 3 apartments, and I was able to put another apartment in the basement. So Mary told me what her insecurities, what her fear was. She didn't want to go against her husband. She didn't want to, take less money. That was her fear. That was her insecurity. And she told me her goal. What was her goal? To move to Florida and retire down there. So I went back the next week. I said, Miss Lapresti, you want 185. I think what everybody was offering you, I think 165 is the number, but I heard what you said, and I want to give you $185,000. And she looked at me. I said, but in order for me to do that and fulfill your wish, you wanted 185, and I also think I found a way for you to get to Florida right away so you don't have to worry about anything. So here's what I love. I don't have a lot of money to put down. In fact, I have no money to put down. This is one of my first deals. I said, I'd like to take over your house with no money down, but I'm going to give you $185,000. How much would it cost for you to be in Florida and live there and not have to worry? She goes, with my Social Security, I need $2,000 a month. I said, here's the deal. I have no money to put down, but I'll give you $2,000 a month. I'll give you the first $2,000 right now. I'll send it to you every month for 2 years, and in 2 years, I'll pay all the balance. But if I'm going to give you $185,000, I can't pay you interest either. And she hugged me and kissed me. She goes, he's going to give me $185. All I did is give her that one thing. How much did I save in closing costs? How much did I save in insurance? And in fact, I went 2 years and I went to pay her off, and she goes, you don't really have to pay me off. Just keep sending me the money. I stretched out for 5 years with no interest. And then 5 years later, I did a cash out refi. I had 4 apartments in it. It was bringing in $5,000 a month. I was paying her 2. Done deal. 50 people tried to get that deal. All I did was do what? I listened. I heard her insecurities, I heard her goal, and I accomplished it in just a different way. It's the reason I called my first course Think a Little Different. Everybody goes in one way. There's always a solution. Just look at it in a different way. It takes the fear out of it. And that's why I said, some people say, what if I have to close or persuade somebody in like speed? Like I only have 3 minutes or 5 minutes with this person. I want to close them. I said, ask a question where they reveal their goal and their fear. Solve that goal or fear. You can make a deal that closes in 5 minutes. I've had this house on the market for 2 years. It's XYZ, it's this. What if I could? And solve their fear, get to their goal, and close the deal. Then the last thing I want to say is, when I see a speaker get insecure from training and then moves into, from training into the close, I watch people get insecure. Some people do that when you're talking to somebody about their house. You're all excited when you go, how many bedrooms? How much do you owe? All the stuff that Cody said, and then all of a sudden you got to go, in your head, you're going, oh shit, now I got to make an offer, right? You get that, like all of a sudden that loop is going in your head. It's like, I got to get to the negotiating. I got to get to the price. Create a bridge, something that can transfer you from the conversation to the asking for the money or giving of the price, that can actually remind you to ramp your enthusiasm and your energy and who you are up rather than getting nervous. So I'll give you a little secret on some of them I use, kind of letting you see behind the curtain. Sometimes you could say, I've used the where are you, where you want to go, why do you want it? How are you going to get there? I'm just going to give you guys a secret because you've all given me a credit card on that bridge. That's one of my bridges because it reminds me at that moment that I'm doing everybody a service if they give me a credit card, and I need to go into this pitch the right way. So I'll teach you about this, or me and Matt will be on a webcast and I'll be teaching. Now I know it's time for the offer. I'll say, hey guys, let's just be honest. We've been talking about it. If you listen to me today, you know where you want to go, right? You said you wanted to make more money, have more freedom. You want to take your life to another level. So you know where you want to go, right? Can you agree? And say, well, the next thing is, why do you want it? If you say, I want more freedom, I want to be with my kids, I want to take control of my life. So now you know where you are, you know where you want to go. The only thing left is, how are you going to get there? I really think my course can take you there. Let me tell you about it. That's a bridge. I just went from kind of talking about it to now I can sell it. So think about someone, you're sitting with someone, they told you all about the property. You say, okay, I see where you want to go with this property. You'd like Mrs. Lapresti, you'd really like to get $185,000 for this property. Why? Because you want to move to Florida and not have all this hassle. The question is, how are you going to get there? I think I have that solution. What if I give you the 185, but I need ... Is that easy to do? That's just a bridge. And all of a sudden when you do the bridge, then you know it's okay. Like, give yourself permission to go from what you were saying to asking for the money, or asking for the deal, or ask him to buy it. Make sense?
Listen, I do these podcasts week after week for you, for free, to empower you with capabilities to go to the next level, to set the foundation for success. And we're growing so fast. Right now, we're number 22 in the world in the entrepreneur category, and I want more people to gain this knowledge for free. So if you love what we deliver, then share it with a friend. Comment, take a screenshot, post it on Instagram, tag me. Let's get this message out to those that need it, especially in today's shifting times.
What's up? Hey, before you go, you need to watch these next few videos. They're absolute game changers. Hurry up and click right over here and watch them, and I'll see you there.